Stephen James, Bay News 1. Beleaguered chief of the San Francisco Juvenile Probation Department Allen Nance said, in response to closing Log Cabin Ranch after 7 minors ran away in 6 months. For whatever reason, in the last 6 months, we've had about 7 young people abscond. We want a top-to-bottom analysis of what's contributing to these kind of incidents, Nance said. Well, his top-to-bottom analysis can start and end with Allen Nance himself. Here is our analysis. It's Allen Nance's job to know why kids are running from the ranch. When they run, they are putting San Mateo County residents' safety at risk. In addition, Chief Allen Nance knows exactly why there has been a spate of runaways from the ranch. He has set the expectation that there will be no consequences for running. Here is how. First, earlier in the year, after the first runaway in 2018 was apprehended, Chief Allen Nance personally asked the judge to release the minor. No charges were filed on the minor for running from Log Cabin Ranch. He served no time in county jail. No assault charges were filed from the high-speed chase needed to apprehend the minor. All charges were dismissed. Never mind the violent crime that he was convicted of, or the victims, or public safety. Just have a nice life. So, once word got back to the other minors at Log Cabin Ranch, it was inevitable. More minors would run. It was Chief Nance's lack of enforcement that set up the expectation with the kids. There would be no consequences from running. Second, one should question the veracity of any analysis posited by Chief Nance. He has a well-documented history of lying to his staff and the public at large in his capacity as chief. See our breach of confidentiality follow-up report. So when Chief Nance denies that he played no part in releasing the minor, look to his history. The same should be true when he denies setting up plans for permanent closure of Log Cabin Ranch. See how this works. The problem is, despite San Francisco's lenient stance on juvenile justice, there is also a serious public safety component. Like it or not, there needs to be a place to put youthful offenders to protect the public. That place also needs to be a place that protects a juvenile's rights and provides an opportunity to rehabilitate. It's a delicate balance. The public safety piece always gets ignored in San Francisco in favor of avoiding damaging young criminals in the long term. Many excuses are made on their behalf. Many are valid. But it is also true that every 3 to 5 years, a San Franciscan loses their life at the hands of an increasingly violent minor who was released by the court. These minors are easy to identify by probation officers. They often make recommendations to detain them, but the court usually ignores the PO recommendations. So the violent minors are released back into the public with the full complicity of Chief Allen Nance. It's like we are sacrificing someone's life, so we avoid institutionalizing a large number of kids, says Mary Sandoval, a juvenile hall officer. It's risk versus reward. By releasing kids who have committed violent crimes, we are risking someone losing their life down the road. But I suppose what we are gaining is preventing a kid from becoming a hardened criminal by getting lost in the system. That's fine. But tell that to the family of the photographer who was murdered on Twin Peaks, or the father of the 16-year-old who was shot and killed at the Metreon by a 15-year-old that was released just 2 weeks before. Chief Allen Nance said, "It's probably one of the most vexing challenges." Mary Sandoval responds, "No doubt, these are deep political and law enforcement questions, which really speaks to our community values. We all should give it some thought. I just know, from the track record of Paula Hernandez and Chief Nance, they are not up to the job of figuring it out." From San Francisco's Juvenile Justice Center, I'm Stephen James, Bay News 1.